Well, a very warm welcome to everyone to the latest in the Russo-British Chamber of Commerce webinar series. Today, we have a fantastic event laid on in which we're going to look at three extremely important areas, including post-Brexit investment opportunities, tax policies in Europe, and the impact of real estate investment, global mobility and migration. My name's Alf Torrance. I'm the Executive Director of the RBCC, and today's expert panel on the virtual roundtable are Anastasia Alexeyeva, Director at Mann Group, Damian Stefanovsky, Head of the Citizenship by Investment Department at CMM Investment and Consulting Group, and Henno Kurze and Maria Muzarovka, Director and Business Development Manager, respectively, at Dixcart. Thank you, of course, to all RBCC members and friends for joining us today. Before we get started, I'll quickly run through the ground rules. Each speaker will have approximately 5 minutes on each topic. That makes 15 minutes per subject. I will keep everything moving on, and each of the speakers will get a 4-minute warning, giving them 1 minute to wrap up their comments. I'm sure many of you will want to put questions to the panel afterwards, so please use the chat room function to send us your questions during the course of the talks. We will be monitoring the chat room, and we will try and pick out some of the more popular themes. You're more than welcome to ask questions directly, and if you so wish to do, please use the hand up function, and again, I'll spot that and cue you to ask your question. Please keep yourselves on mute unless you're speaking, and of course, if you do speak, unmute yourself, and most importantly, remute yourself once you've finished. As we normally do, we will record the webinar for posterity and will be posted on the website tomorrow. If any of you would like to get hold of or talk to Anastasia, Damian, Henno or Maria in more detail about any of the subjects covered, please do so either via ourselves, details are on the website, or of course, please contact them directly. That's all I have to say. A very warm welcome to everyone. And Anastasia, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anastasia, and I suppose in the UK, people call me Stacey just for the ease of it. I work for Man Group. We are, I think it's just better if I present myself and the company. We are corporate and trust service provider, headquartered in Isle of Man with offices in Cyprus, where I used to work for 2 years, left, and I joined our UK office where I'm now located, and we have an office in Ireland as well. I would like to apologize in advance. Few days ago, I had to travel to Russia, so my connection is a bit unstable sometimes, so I might drop, but don't disconnect, I'm still here. Anyway, I'll just go through the first bit with regards to Brexit. So it's quite clear for all of us that we had a considerable influence through Brexit on the UK economy, which consequently scared people looking to invest in new business. The current climate of uncertainty led away quite a few startups and new businesses in the UK, even before we actually left the EU. However, there's still many factors that the UK can offer and has quite favorable environment for entrepreneurs. We see in man-made, we see an increase in interest in real estate lately due to a significant drop in the current market. Interestingly, our clients who used to choose to invest mainly in London properties and big houses and massive mansions now tend to opt for northern properties. Up north, it did show that the market sustained Brexit and COVID distress as well in a better way, rather than comparing it to well, big cities like London and Bristol, and as well as many people who live in the UK, they tend to relocate from big cities to outskirts themselves. So we see that the market up north is actually not booming, but is steady and with the potential to grow. What we used to offer to our clients is a complete bespoke advice on each and every purchase for each and every client when it comes to property ownership. Um, as you can imagine, investing in real estate in the UK is quite difficult. You do need to get a tax advisor. You do need to get a VAT advice in case you're planning to resell it or cut the property in a few pieces and sell it as three different entities. So we'll look at both VAT and tax implications that might arise, but not even in your lifetime, but in the lifetime of your kids and grandkids, if you're planning to. And depending on your situation, for instance, if you're a resident in the UK or not, if your children are planning to move to the UK or not, we tend to use UK trusts to hold real estate. UK trusts are not used for anything else apart from sometimes the real estate purchase. Another side would be investing in real estate through Isle of Man structures. It's quite interesting that Isle of Man is actually considered part of Britain, but not UK. It's difficult for a non-UK person because there's England and Crown dependencies, Great Britain, Commonwealth, but Isle of Man is fully recognized by UK and EU as a separate jurisdiction with amazing banking, regulatory and infrastructure system. Have one more minute left, I suppose, and just a note. Isle of Man government also approved the regulations that allow to issue licenses for participation in new medical cannabis sector. So that could be quite interesting. It's quite an exciting new business opportunity for some investors. And as well, I just wanted to mention that e-gaming, people are staying at home more and more, playing online casinos. So that's one of the things that we see that our clients started to invest in getting licenses, well, particularly in Isle of Man, where there's good infrastructure for IT business. So yeah, that's the gist.
Great. Thank you very much, Anastasia, for that. Very concise. Damien, you're on.
Thank you, Alf. Thank you, Stacy. My name is Damien. I represent CMM Investment Consulting Group from Montenegro. We're a group of companies from Montenegro. Our main office is in Budva, and we have a representative office in Moscow for our Russian-speaking clients. What we do is we provide full cycle of services when it comes to real estate in our country. Also, we're represented in Spain. When I say full cycle of services, I mean in our company we have legal advisors, we have investment consultants, we have our own management company, and I would say the most important thing is that we are a developer as well. We build our own projects, we build projects for our clients as well, and at the time being, of course, we work with citizenship by investment program, citizenship by investment program of Montenegro, which is on its peak of its popularity, I would say, at the moment. Well, from this brief introduction, you probably understand that my topics will be mostly connected to real estate. So I would start with the first topic, the post Brexit investment opportunities. So we still don't know the exact repercussions that Brexit will have upon the UK, and it is inevitably going to add limitations to British investors who want to purchase property out of Britain. Everyone in Britain who is dreaming of buying their second home should consider the additional admin that will come post-Brexit. For example, having to sort out additional investment visas, larger stamp duty prices, even I would say higher tax rates on their overseas property. Along with the COVID-19 pandemic, Brexit will have an impact on the foreign exchange as well. But this, however, can work in your favor if you lock in the rate when it's most beneficial. How to prepare for overseas property investment? Well, you have to be aware of the tax obligations, of course, and therefore it is always recommendable to find a tax advisor, as Anastasia said. This will enable you to fully understand the tax obligations in UK and in any European country. Of course, really important thing is to research the places to buy property abroad, regardless of what the investor is putting their money into. They will generally expect to see a return. Well, in order to be best positioned for investments return on overseas property, you must deep dive into the locations that you are buying, you're investing in. Important elements or important factors such as location, accessibility, of course, average house price, we again vs monthly rental costs, and of course you have to be aware if it is going to have a future demand.
1 minute left, please.
Yep, sure. Regarding the effect of making international payments, well, no matter how big or small the investment is, if you need to send money abroad, the rise and fall of currency will and can and will affect the value of the purchase. So again, get help from companies that deal with this before making the investment. Lots of investment programs available in Europe. Golden visas, CBI programs, Caribbean programs are quite popular. So there's a lot to choose from. You should only be careful when choosing the service provider. Thank you very much.
That's Damien, perfect timing, literally on the button. Thank you. I'm not sure who's going next, Henno or Maria?
It'll be me.
Over to you. Great.
Hi there. Good afternoon. So,
good afternoon.
As Alf mentioned, my name is Henno. I'm a director of Dixcart Management Malta. We're a family-owned company of group companies in 9 jurisdictions with 10 offices. The accent you're hearing is not Maltese, it's South African. I moved here just over 5 years ago, and we market Malta across the world, myself and Maria. What makes Malta such a nice jurisdiction with regards to the UK? Malta is basically a tiny little Britain. It was a British colony for years. Marks and Spencer's here, Waitrose, all the international brands. From an international investment perspective, Malta's got quite a few ties, like I mentioned before, with the UK. We've seen a lot of UK businesses opening operations in Malta to trade within the EU because of the low corporate taxes that we essentially you can pay an effective tax rate of 5% on trading income and 10% on passive income. So for investments, it's a good hub to invest through. If you invest in more than 5% of the underlying company, any dividends or capital gains that you make in the underlying subsidiary will not be taxed in Malta. Because the UK has now left the EU, it is deemed as a third country, and any dividend payments that we make, there's no withholding tax, even though it is to a non-European jurisdiction. So that makes it quite attractive as a holding company vehicle. For real estate locally, if you're interested to invest, there's quite a large UK population in Malta. There's no restriction on property investments locally. The only requirement is that foreigners can only have one property. So should you wish to rent out a property, you need to buy in a certain designated area for foreigners renting out properties. But if you just need a nice summer home or a winter home where you know the sun will be shining, you have no limitations on where you're renting or where you're investing. That's it from Malta.
Henno, thank you very much for that. That's great. We will now move on to the second topic, and I think Anastasia, you will lead off again, if that's all right.
Yep. Same as in school with my first name and last name, always been the first one to present.
Yeah.
The second one is tax.
Yeah.
I'll start my timer. On the 7th of June this year, a few days ago, Russia basically notified Netherlands of denunciation of the agreement of the avoidance of double taxation agreement. Means that this is quite a historic event. Neither in USSR nor Russia ever denounced tax treaties before, including at the top of the Cold War with the United States a few decades ago. Russian-Dutch tax agreement will expire 1st of January next year. Means that it will increase tax rates on dividends that's paid from Russia from 5 to 15%, and royalties from 0 to 20%. And what that means is we will probably see some holdings being closed, relocated, restructured. We don't foresee that would this would lead to mass migration of Dutch holdings to other countries, but some character should be expected. But yeah, definitely certain number of companies will move to another jurisdiction. In that sense, I would like to list possible options. One of which is to basically leave everything as it is. Another one is to liquidate the Dutch holding company. And the third one is to relocate it to a better jurisdiction, which UK is and always will be. Basically, the process of relocation it's not too difficult if you know what you're doing. So if it's important for you that the company is a going concern, as if you've incorporated 300 years ago and has the brand, has the name, number of clients associated with the company, then the best thing is to redomicile a company to a better jurisdiction. For example, somewhere in the EU or the UK. Again, depending on the jurisdiction where you were domiciling from, it could be not Netherlands, but another country. Certain points need to be checked, such as licenses, share structure, capital, directors, admin side. It's only possible, obviously, when there's agreement between two countries to allow the redomiciliation. Man-Made is always happy to provide a consultancy on this free of charge, obviously, just to see if this is possible. Another way of moving a company to a different jurisdiction is, again, if it's not important whether it's a going concern or not, you can basically liquidate the company, and before that, novate all of your agreements, contracts, clients to another country, another entity in another country. This is easier for us to comprehend, because you don't need to deregister, re-register it in different countries, and it's a reasonably straightforward procedure. However, the offshore company or the company that you currently hold that you would like to relocate needs to be liquidated, but with really good care in respect of potential degrouping charges if the company's within the same group as your new company. This can be quite admin heavy, so good care should be taken on that side. With regards to, I know I have 1 minute left. With regards to UK taxation, obviously we now have changes because of COVID, potentially because of Brexit as well. So the tax rate is 19, but in the next 2 years, it's gonna, year and a half, it's gonna steadily increase. There's a specific step rate for different companies depending on their profitability. So for companies only earning more than, I think it's 250K, the tax rate is going to be 26%, which is not too bad, still good, but it's a change. So yeah, that's basically it from me.
Great, Anastasia, thank you very much. Moving swiftly on back to you, Damien.
Thank you, Alf. Well, again, it is quite challenging to find like comparison between taxes in Europe, and again, my focus, not again, but my focus will be here on the I would say the gap between taxes in EU member countries and non-EU member countries, and or to be more precise, Western Europe against Southeast Europe. These countries in Southeast Europe, as I have heard, they are called the tax havens. So actually, these countries have excellent investment conditions, and they are supported by very favorable and flexible tax policy that is, so to say, business oriented, and it is constructively supporting whoever is looking to start a business in one of these countries. And of course, Montenegro is one of them. The income tax is very acceptable. It is fixed on 9%, and when you compare it to most European countries, where this ranges from 15 to 25, if I'm not mistaken, France even 31%, something like that. Then when you're buying a property from a developer in these countries, you are not supposed to pay any taxes. You pay only 3% of tax when you are buying from the secondary market, which is again quite low. This tax, for example, in Spain is at least 10%, if I'm not mistaken. Also, there is everyone in Montenegro is not supposed to pay inheritance tax or pension tax. When it comes to the value-added tax, the VAT, according to the European law, every country is how to say, supposed to have at least a 15% VAT, and we know that, for example, Switzerland, which is a non-EU country, has 7.7, then Luxembourg 17, Turkey 18, who else is there? Germany 19%, and the average VAT for Europe is 21.3, and this is actually what most of the southeastern countries like Bulgaria, even Macedonia, my home country, Bulgaria, they all have this average VAT. Why? Well, this is my personal opinion. Why is this like that? Why are the taxes in southeastern countries lower than other parts of Europe? Is because these countries are still developing. And it is beneficial for the state to support business without taxing the investors too much. Besides, they give all kinds of benefits. Plus, they do this to kind of create attractive conditions for investment in the countries. Which in turn to the country helps to develop the local businesses. So I would recommend that whoever wants to open a company offshore, expand their business, I would recommend to look into Southeastern countries as well. Montenegro, for example, I mean, we're a Montenegrin company, so I mention Montenegro most of the time, is quite popular because as we know, by 2025, it will, most probably it will be part of the European Union. So it is what I say, what I tell clients and our partners as well, that now is the perfect timing to invest in Montenegro. And of course, we are there to provide full service.
Great. Damien, thank you very much for that. And thank you for sticking to time as well. Back to Dixcart, to Henno or to Maria.
Thank you. So I will take this topic and this question. I'm Maria Mużarowska, and I've been already introduced by, I'm Business Development Manager at Dixcart Malta office. And when it comes to taxation, there is a freedom of movement of the capital and freedom to establish a business in between of European countries in EU, and tax policies here play the vital role to support business, to support digital economy and support sustainable economy. And digitalization made design countries to make to fulfill the needs of their citizens, of the economy, and of the investors. And nowadays it's very easy for entrepreneurs just to decide which country they would like to establish the business. It can be in different countries abroad. And tax policies create the better environment for business, but it is important to mention that in EU, there is no harmonized tax system. So there are some policies which are harmonized, but each country has its different tax rate, and different countries provide different tax system. So, for example, Malta offers attractive corporate tax regime. Hannah already mentioned before that companies that are registered in Malta and their residents in Malta, they are taxed at the 35%, which is our standard tax rate, and it seems to be very high, on the higher end in EU countries. But when the shareholder or shareholders of such company are non-residents in Malta, so they don't live in Malta, don't have residency here, they're entitled to get a claim for certain tax, and it all depends on the nature of the business and what company does. So when the dividend is paid to a non-resident shareholder, such shareholder can claim the tax, and the refund that from the tax that shareholder will receive amounts to 6/7 of the Maltese tax paid. So basically it will be the refund of 30%, and such company can perform any trading activity, which includes advisory or consultancy services. And when the Maltese resident company would do would perform some passive activity and receive passive income, the refund would amount to 5/7, which is 25% refund. So our Maltese tax system gives advantage to non-resident shareholders, and they can obtain 5% or 10% corporate tax, which is rather on the lower end, which is if you compare it to other EU countries. And it's also important to mention, once now like UK is outside EU, some companies which would like to have a EU presence, they would need to look at some EU countries and find the most suitable for them. Another policy that we have, and it's harmonized, and this is the requirement from the EU, is participation exemption, and those rules are based from parent subsidiary directive, which exempts profits distributed by the subsidiary from the taxation. So qualifying dividends and capital gains which are received by the participating holding are exempt from tax. They would be exempt from tax in Malta. There are a number of requirements. So there should be a qualifying holding of at least of 5% in the of the shares in the company which is non-resident in Malta. There are some anti-abuse rules to that, and of course, if you're interested, I might like send you that information later on. So there are different rules, but in the same time, tax systems and international organizations like United Nations or EU Commission, they try to harmonize and strengthen tax transparency and fight against aggressive tax planning. That is why most of jurisdictions have implemented some registration, for example, and they have in place register of beneficial owners, and they're registered in the register. In most countries, they are open, so it is possible to see who is an owner of the structure. There are common reporting standards which are developed by OEM and in the governments, and there is also a pretty new thing which is DAC 6. It is a directive on administrative cooperation which entitles automatic.
I think, Maria, are you still there?
I think I've been locked off. Apologies for that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you
dropped
hear
off
me.
there. I can hear you, Maria. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yes. Apologies.
Okay.
I think my internet connection was
dropped. Yeah.
Here it locked me off. So
we got most of what you said. We just lost the last few seconds. I don't. Your 5 minutes is up. I don't know if you want to just summarize the last few seconds we missed.
So basically, just to summarize, is that there are some instruments and rules which are implemented by different countries, and they they're made to make a business environment more friendly and transparent and create fair competition, and it depends on the needs of their particular type of the business where they would like to be established. There are a lot of places where you can do it, and of course, if you decide to consider Malta, we're happy to provide you with additional information.
Great. Thank you very much, Maria. And sorry, we missed a little bit, but you summarized that up very neatly. So that's great. We've now finished that section of the talk. We'll now move on to the impact of COVID on real estate investment, global mobility and migration. We will follow the same order, starting with Anastasia. We actually made up a bit of time. So if you want to have a couple more minutes, you're welcome. If not, you can just stick to the original timings, no problem. And just remind the audience, this is your chance to put any questions you may have to the expert audience. Please use the chat room. We've got a few questions already, but please keep those coming in. Thanks very much. Anastasia, the floor is yours.
Yes. So the last point is basically why COVID period is the perfect timing to invest. We, being the corporate provider and advisor, we see that a lot of our clients take this opportunity, especially starting from last year, to restructure current structures, redo basically everything that people put together in the past 5, 10, whatever years, however convoluted it was, they're trying to make it neat, effective, clean, that a structure that would make sense to themselves, to tax authorities, to basically everyone. With UK, it's quite easy. UK has around 6 million private sector businesses, according to official government data. Figure is growing. It grew twofold since 2000, and 3/4 of UK businesses don't have employees, meaning that they are owned by either self-employed or sole traders or partnerships or UBOs, which is just a shareholder. It's quite difficult now to contemplate on the current business environments for business owners in the UK. I think I've looked through statistics, and the owners of the businesses have split view on how Brexit is still going to affect them, and how COVID is still going to affect them, because it's happening as we speak. But just to go into more corporate world, there are a few ways on how to own your real estate, or how to own your portfolio. There's partnerships in the UK, which there's a general, limited, and an LLP partnership, which allows you either to have full responsibility, i.e. liability of debt and losses and of your partnership. There's a one with where limited partnership, where just one partner has the full responsibility. There's a limited liability partnership where none of the partners have responsibility or for the debts and loans. And there's private limited companies, which are familiar for everyone. I would like to mention that we also offer more complicated entities through our Isle of Man office, which allow our current clients to restructure in this difficult times of COVID to a more optimized, efficient way of owning their assets. This includes trusts, foundations, as well as PCC, which is my favorite. It's an amazing type of entity with incredible level of flexibility. Basically, it's just one company with a variety, a number of unregistered branches, or we call it cells. PCC itself is a protected cell company. So you only create one legal entity. For example, a PCC can create to hold different types of assets in different cells. One cell can hold real estate in the UK, another cell can hold a yacht somewhere in Montenegro, for example. A third cell could hold corporate shares in different companies. Another one can hold a portfolio. Each branch can be owned by different investors. PCC allows for complete separation between those cell assets. You may choose to receive dividend from each cell and from the PCC itself. We just apply the standard solvency test. I have 1 minute left. Basically, this allows you to divide and conquer your current structure, because it's just one legal entity that you can control much easier. It's super interesting for Russian clients because of the CFC KIK provisions, because if you have 10 investors, each holding each cell, then you have less than 10% ownership. That means you don't have to go through a complicated regulatory hell where you have to submit documents, you have to submit tax returns, and blah, blah, blah. So it's quite handy, this one. So that's that's it. If you are interested, I'm happy to send more info on this, because it sounds quite difficult, but actually, when you look at the structure itself, it makes a lot of sense. So yeah.
Anastasia, thank you very much for that. I have to confess, I've not heard of a protected cell company before. It does look extremely interesting. I'll have to get the information off you afterwards, if that's okay. Yeah, good. Thanks. Thank you, Anastasia. Over to Damien. As I mentioned before, you can have a couple of extra minutes if you need it. If not, carry on as per your original plan. But Damien, over to you.
Thank you, Alf. COVID is actually, how to put it, the reason why the migration and the global mobility business is rising at this moment. Lots of people are searching for possibilities out of their main jurisdictions. So it is, yeah, a good point that for me to talk about. When it comes to the CBI programs, well, many have defined them as the ultimate global mobility asset. I think that, I mean, to have a document that opens up the world for you and gives you the opportunity to travel, or like to cement your status as a global citizen. It is something like a luxury for those who can afford it, and a plan B for those who actually need it. But there is another thing that actually citizenship programs, CBI actually means citizenship by investment. So I'm going to say CBI all the time, because I don't want to break my tongue with citizenship by investment all the time. So CBI programs, they offer one thing that is, the reason why most of the investors are looking into this, and this is called financial freedom. What do I mean by this? The financial freedom comes in many forms and sizes. But the CBI, actually, it's a complete package for a global investor can dream of. This comes from the first shackle that CBI breaks, is that investors can avoid the tedious taxation. Many of the elite see their finances bleed due to tax regimes. So they have no choice but to abide the tax structure that takes a lot and doesn't give much in return. Of course, the coronavirus pandemic has a big impact on the economic system all over the world. There are lots of businesses that made money out of the pandemic, lots of businesses that lost a lot, and big amounts. And of course, the bigger you are, the harder you fall, as they say. What else can I add? Well, in these times, the governments are like trying to take as much as they can from the wealthy. I mean, we've heard about the term wealthy tax. And the CBI countries, they are offering investors another option, one that is more understanding and that allows actually the investors to have more control of what they have earned through sweat and tears. Of course, there is possibilities for all investors investing in CBI programs to open bank accounts that are more user-friendly. This goes for investors that come from countries that have like financial sanctions or complicated banking regulations, etc., etc. This gives them more freedom in moving their money throughout the globe without needing to worry every time they conduct transaction. even doing a business becomes easier because these countries, Southeastern, like Turkey, Montenegro again. We all heard Malta is here as well. They offer really, really good opportunities for expanding the business, running the business with low tax regimes. The procedure of opening the company in Montenegro is quite easy. I'm sure in Malta is not much different. Yes, that is quite what I wanted to say, what I wanted to message all. Yeah, COVID and the CBI programs, like, yes, this is they are helping each other. Let's put it like that.
Right. Damien, thank you very much. And last but not least, either Maria or Henno again.
I will take this off. So I agree with Damien. COVID has definitely highlighted the importance of having a plan B. A lot of individuals have realized how their countries have handled COVID, the type of lockdown restrictions they were under, and even the vaccination rollouts play a significant part. If you had the Malta passport, you could have come to Malta. Even if you had the residence card, we've vaccinated almost 75% of our population, actually even more after, but it's a high number compared to some, for instance, South Africa, which is only starting now. So it just gives high net worth individuals the ability to be able to be, flexible and being able to move where they feel, it would be the best suited for them. So looking forward, flexible working hours and locations, working remotely is still going to be a thing. If you're a non-European, or even if you're a European, there are various options for you to move to Malta and settle here. Why Malta? It's got 300 days of sunshine, great climate, a very relaxed lifestyle, very rich history. So it makes it really interesting to live in Malta. If you don't know where we are, we're just south of Italy in the Mediterranean. Malta is a full Schengen member, and a full EU member, so it gives you all the benefits from being part of the EU and the Schengen. And then for individuals, why a lot of individuals select Malta is that we're one of the last jurisdictions that tax on remittance. So if you remit income into a Maltese bank account, you pay tax. If you don't remit the income to a Maltese bank account, you don't pay tax. And if you remit capital or capital gains into a Maltese bank, you don't pay any tax. So very tax efficient to live here. If you're under a tax program, depending on which program you're under, it could be 15,000 euros a year, which is your minimum tax. And if you're a resident on some of the other programs, which I'll talk to now, the minimum tax is only 5,000 euros a year. We don't have any inheritance tax, gift tax, or wealth taxes. Just so quickly, the big one that everyone's interested in is the new Malta Citizenship by Naturalization program, which is essentially the passport program. It's a residence program that through naturalization, you will receive a passport. There's two options now to do this. There's a 3-year residency option where you contribute 600,000 euros to the Maltese economy, or there's a 1-year residency option where you have to make an exceptional contribution to the Maltese economy of 750,000 euros. There's an additional 50,000 euros per applicant that you include, and there is no restriction on the children that you include in the application. They just have to be financially dependent on the main applicant. Other investment requirements under the passport program is you need to make a philanthropic donation of 10,000 euros, and then you need to make a property investment. So that could either be renting a property for 16,000 euros a year for 5 years, or you need to purchase a property with a minimum value of 700,000 euros. Then the brand new launch program, Malta relaunched the permanent residency program in April this year. They've redesigned the old MRVP. The new program makes it a much more streamlined, much more efficient, because before you had to invest in government bonds and make a donation. and the new program's taken that all away. So the benefits of this program, quickly, is that applicants receive a 5-year residency program. Being a full Schengen member, that card lets you travel visa-free throughout the Schengen member states. It's possible, like on this permanent residency program, to include up to 4 generations in one application, and individuals under this program benefit from the remittance basis of taxation. So income you remit is taxed, anything else is not taxed. So the first option under the permanent residency program is you rent a property for 5 years, and then you pay the full contribution. Under this program, you pay a non-refundable 40,000 euro administration fee. You rent a property with an annual minimum value of 12,000 euros, which is reduced to 10,000 if the property is situated in Gozo or the south of Malta. And you have to pay the full government contribution of 58,000 euros. Lastly, you need to make a donation of 2,000 euros. So the total day one cash outflow is 100,000. Option 2 is when you purchase a property, you can pay a reduced contribution. Under this program, you still have to pay the 40,000 euro application fee. The property that you need to purchase needs a minimum value of 350,000 euros, which is reduced to 300 if the property is in Gozo or the south of Malta. You need to still make a donation of 2,000 euros to an NGO, so which results in a day one cost of 70,000 euros. There's an additional 7,500 euro application fee if you add additional applicants, adult applicants. The second last program that I want to touch base on quickly is which I grouped together as the tax programs. So there's a number of tax programs available to individuals should you wish to move to Malta. There's the Global Residence Program available to non-EU nationals. And then there's the Resident Program, which is available to EU nationals. And they both operate in the same way, in that you will receive a residence card, a 1-year residence card, and you will receive a letter from the Maltese tax authorities that says that you have a special tax status in Malta. Some of the other benefits that you have under this program is that any income that you remit is taxed at a flat rate of 15% compared to the other programs, which is between 0 and 35%. As I mentioned before, we don't have inheritance tax, withholding tax, or gift taxes. The application under these tax programs are quite quick, between 3 and 6 months. Again, you can travel visa-free throughout the Schengen member states with your residence card. There's no language test. And the good thing with Malta under all these programs is that English is an official language. So all the government interactions, all the government documents are in English. To qualify for any tax program that I mentioned before, is you either need to purchase a property of 275,000 euros, or you need to rent a property for 9,600 euros per year. And then there's the minimum tax of 15,000 euros. Under all these programs, you have to have private medical aid or medical insurance in Malta. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the program that they launched last week in Malta, which is called the Digital Nomad Residency Permit. Basically, what this does, it gives non-European individuals the right to work remotely from Malta and receive a temporary residence permit which is between 6 and 12 months. The visa might be renewed. It's up to the minister's discretion whether or not the passport or the residence will be renewed. Just the benefits under this program, it's a fast track application process. Applicants can receive up to a 12-month visa. Should they get a 12-month visa, they will get a residence card, which gives them the benefits to travel visa-free throughout the Schengen member states. Malta is quite known for blockchain online gaming. So we have a robust infrastructure, fast, reliable internet. I think we're the first EU country with full 5G coverage. And again, you have the ability to operate under the remittance basis of taxation. I know there was a lot to discuss, but I just thought I'll run through all of that. So that's it for Malta.
Hanno, thanks very much for that. Your first intervention was short, so that the time worked out perfectly. Interesting, we do follow the COVID stats, and I believe Malta has the second global record for most people vaccinated against COVID, just behind Iceland, I believe, but a fantastic sort of record there. Panel, thank you very much for your comments and your for all the information you've imparted. Our time is almost up. We have a few questions. I'll ask one of them, which I think is probably the most popular, or the most interesting anyways, is it's on real estate. Well, it's not on real estate. It's if you were looking in your respective countries for investments other than real estate, what would you recommend? And I know your sort of particular interest is real estate, but I think it's quite an interesting question. We'll just go around in order, if that's okay. Okay, Anastasia, I don't know if you have a comment on that. If not, that's fine.
So the question again is?
So the question is, if not investing in real estate, what would you recommend people invest in your particular area?
Obviously, I'm not an investment advisor.
No.
In the last few, I would say half a year, we've seen again a spike in crypto investments.
Mm-hmm.
That's out
Yes.
again.
Yeah.
There's nothing new. But I suppose in the current climate, I would probably keep liquid cash still.
Mm-hmm.
If I were an investor, I would invest in just keep it in either liquid or portfolio, because in my view, my personal view, next year is going to be quite difficult. We're going to hit crazy inflation, and for some, the liquid cash is basically required for some people just to be able to quickly invest in something that dropped, that is considered to be of high value and will rebound. So that's my personal view.
Thanks, Alice. I appreciate that. It lends itself to not all the panelists, but that's a great answer. Thank you. Damien, any quick thoughts on that, if you do?
Yeah, sure. Well, if I talk about Montenegro, of course, I would say if not real estate, then definitely invest in tourism, because well, the average number of tourists visiting Montenegro is 1.5 million each season. Great Mediterranean climate, over 260 sunny days, and one really good point is that the World Travel and Tourism Council predicted that investment in Montenegro in the field of tourism is going to be very profitable in the coming years. Then if we talk about businessmen and investors with large capitals, mining is a good investment place in Montenegro, and I would say the maritime sector. All of those who are into the yacht business, they are welcome to invest in this sector in Montenegro. Lots of other things, agriculture, for example, winemaking. The wine is perfect over there. The climate is just the thing. So lots of things actually. If anyone is interested, please you can contact me later after this webinar. Thank you.
Thanks, Damien. That's great. And Henno and Maria, and any final comments? You have the final say.
So basically, I mean, we've got a cannabis regime in Malta. If you set up research and development in Malta, there's Malta enterprise funding. If you're setting up real company operations in Malta, again, there's enterprise cash funding for you to start your business. So Malta's open for business, for any investment really. So get in touch and we can help guide you.
I won't tell my, oh, sorry, Maria.
No, go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just going to say, I won't tell my son about the cannabis thing, but that's another story. Anyways, That's all we have time for. Thank you to our panelists, Anastasia, Damien, Maria, and Henno, for a really interesting insight into their respective domains. I'm sorry time ran out, but that's the way it is. Of course, we have your details. If any of the audience are interested in contacting them, as I said before, please come through us or direct. And we will post the recording of this tomorrow. So you're welcome to review that as you need. That's all I have for you. Thank you very much again for attending. Just to remind you, tomorrow we have an outreach with the British Embassy in Moscow, where the ambassador, the trade representative, and the consular will bring us up to date on any developments from their side. So you're all very welcome to join that. And then on the 30th of June, we have our business forum, which has a great lineup. The program's on the web, and I hope you'll join us for that as well. But for now, thank you very much. Have a good rest of the day. And to the panelists, once again, thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.